taking another flight of stairs to the main level of the house. She'd find her host, wish him a happy birthday, express her continued interest in adding his name to the cast of Barcelona, then mingle for exactly 15 minutes before returning to her car. From the vantage point above the pool, she scanned the guests, not immediately sighting Hyde Butler. There was plenty of eye candy, though. More than one tanned and perfectly trimmed starlet had already decided that Hyde's birthday gift was an unobstructed view of her body. If the swimsuits were off before the sun was down, a brawl it would be, no question about it. Around the naked starlets was a circle of muscle-flexing males. The nudity didn't bother her, but the use of a supine woman's flat stomach to snort lines of coke did. That this particular event on an abnormally humid Malibu evening was going to devolve into a brawl bothered her even more. Hyde Butler was a rising star noted for rugged good looks that sold magazines and tickets. Two anomalies had caught Selena's attention. Hyde was 38, a little old to be breaking into the movies, and surprise of surprises, he could act. He had the kind of face and ability that would bring him parts for the next 40 years, but he had to survive the first 3 years in Hollywood. Everyone from his old friends to his agent to whoever was producing his next action flick was backing the Hyde Butler horse, and anything Hyde wanted, Hyde would get. Younger heads had succumbed to the many temptations of newly initiated stardom, but she had hoped Hyde was old enough to have seen the tricks and treats for what they were. She was aware of eyes watching her as her heels clicked across the still-warm Spanish tiles of the expansive covered patio. Some gazes slid past, not allotting any value to the plain black suit, even if it was Dior, or a simple tucked behind-the-ears bob. Other gazes locked and followed, knowing who she was. She avoided eye contact, taking in the clusters of vivacious men and women in her peripheral vision, and using her ears to separate voices into simple categories of avoid and okay. She chose a path with least to avoid. Looking at the partygoers, she wasn't so sure Hyde was as wise as she had hoped. She was here to encourage him to join Barcelona, but no star was big enough to be worth dealing with their addiction issues. Not to her, at least. Other producers might roll with or even encourage it, but she'd never found it easy, and after Jennifer, it would be impossible. She hated to write Hyde off, though. They talked 3 or 4 times, and she hoped the rapport she'd felt hadn't just been his magnetism. "Selena, darling." Putting on her best party face, she turned to the voice, offered a cheek to Bertram Glacier, who was too smart and too old to stick around for a brawl, then to his wife, who was young, pretty, and wore a rock the size of a golf ball on her 3rd finger. She would want to stay, no doubt. "Bertie, we have to have lunch. Seriously. The distribution contract expired, and we have to update the terms." He winked, which was always disarming. "I'll get us a table at Spargo's by the end of the week." "Cut the crap." Selena smacked him playfully on the arm. "Chili dogs at the pantry. How about Friday?" He mimed a heart attack. "You always know how to seduce me, Lena." The 4th Mrs. Glacier wound her arm around her husband. Selena wanted to tell her she was no threat, at least not in the bedroom sense. Bertie loved smart women. He just didn't marry them. "You need to remember your cholesterol, honey." He gave her an indulgent smile and Selena another wink. "Friday." "I'll bring carrots," Selena said over her shoulder. She smiled as she drifted away. 2 of her allotted 15 minutes had already crossed something off her to-do list. If she found Hyde, her time would be well spent. Instead of Hyde, however, she was confronted by Bibi Latour. "Selena, don't tell me you're going to run out without saying hello." "Okay," Selena answered. "I won't tell you," she added to herself. She saw agents as necessary participants in the industry, just as producers were. Agents and producers typically saw each other as evil incarnate. Most agents, to her, were in fact looking out for their clients. But Bibi's track record of looking out for Bibi was the only successful thing about her. Selena was also willing to bet there was more than a mere personal stash of white powder in Bibi's cute little evening bag. "I know you really want Hyde for your little movie, but the whole world is clamoring for..."